a team headed by Germans found the ancient Iraqi city of Uruk in 2003. It is believed to be King Gilgamesh's grave. The team employed cutting-edge technology to scan the soil and produce a magnetogram that virtually displayed the old city's layout. Researchers found what appeared to be the ruins of a building that could be construed as a tomb in the location where the Euphrates River formerly was. This building's description matched that of Gilgamesh's tomb in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Although he could not say for sure that the tomb belonged to the ancient king, Jörg Fassbinder of the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments in Munich stated that it largely matched the epic's description. As a giant standing more than 5 meters tall, Gilgamesh is revered as a Sumerian Akkadian mythological figure. He can now be acknowledged as a real historical person and, more precisely, as the 5th monarch of the 1st dynasty of the Sumerian city of Uruk, thanks to translations of a number of documents published in recent decades. It's likely that Gilgamesh was deified after his passing. To add to the strangeness, we locate an email with a request for documents relating to the Gilgamesh resurrection chamber, the location of his body, and that of the buried Nephilim. Department of State FOIA Log 2018 on the U.S. State Department website under the Freedom of Information Act section. The email can be located at F2019-02110, page 470. But what message about Gilgamesh's resurrection and the site of the buried Nephilim was included in the State Department emails? What transpires when word spreads that the old tomb has been discovered? In this video, we will discover the solutions to this and other queries. The historical background of the fabled Sumerian monarch and his interment is clarified by the discovery of the ancient city of Uruk. Gilgamesh, one of the most venerated characters in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, is thought to have been Uruk's 5th king. He occurs in numerous myths and epics, where he is regarded as a god-king or demigod. As a judge of the dead in the underworld, Gilgamesh is also thought to have had a function in the afterlife. He is referred to as the Lord of Animals as well. His traditions and story have been passed down through the ages and have inspired several literary works, as well as archaeological findings. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a collection of inscriptions on clay tablets, tells of his burial beneath the Euphrates River in a tomb created when the river's waters separated after his passing. One of the first pieces of literature still in existence is the Epic, a poem that originated in Mesopotamia. The records and plates are from 2100 BC. A German team identified the tomb's site by spotting variations in the soil. As a result, they produced a magnetogram, which was later digitally mapped to produce an accurate structural model of the region. With the use of this technology, they were able to cover an area of more than 100 hectares. And to their utter amazement, they found buildings like houses, gardens, and fields that the Epic of Gilgamesh had already depicted with amazing detail. They also found evidence of a highly developed civilization in the form of an intricate network of canals that gave the city the appearance of a water oasis in the middle of a desert. We found in an area just outside the city, in the bed of the former Euphrates River, the remains of a building that can be interpreted as a funerary, remarked Fassbinder at the time. Although the similarities to the epic's description are remarkable, I still hesitate to declare with certainty that this is King Gilgamesh's tomb, the Death of Gilgamesh. The Sumerian text. The Death of Gilgamesh actually provides a fairly detailed account of Gilgamesh's demise. Though the Epic of Gilgamesh has this concept, newer translations do not always include it. The poem tells the story of the brave city of Uruk's ruler's passing and burial. Gilgamesh was revered in Sumerian tradition as the real ruler. It is thought that he was born of the mortal father Lugalbanda and the celestial mother Ninzun. The story of the death of Gilgamesh opens with the hero, near death, resting in bed. He discovers in his dream that he has reached the end of his earthly mission and will ascend to become the ruler of the underworld. The narrative then shifts to a description of Gilgamesh's funeral, which could allude to the tombs. It includes information about his favorite singer, butler, and barber, as well as his cherished son and younger wife, his favorite topics, his favorite attendants who worked in the palace, as they took their seats beside him, just like in the immaculate palace of Uruk. Gilgamesh, son of Ninsun, weighed the presents in preparation for the gathering. Ereshkigal measured Namtar's gifts. Similar succinct descriptions of the offerings delivered to numerous priesthood functionaries and perhaps 20 deities, all of whom are now deceased, follow in the book. Archaeologists were undoubtedly convinced at the time that this groundbreaking find would reveal long-forgotten truths and drastically alter our perception of history. But there was someone else who had other ideas. The United States invaded Iraq just a few weeks after Gilgamesh's tomb was discovered. The enigmatical meanings of their discovery remain unknown as a result of Fassbinder and his committed team's hasty decision to leave the nation cease their research. Nobody got close to this discovery after that. That is, if it hasn't been widely reported to have. The Euphrates River's drying up has made it possible to uncover ever more new historical secrets in recent years. Regretfully, most of them wind themselves in a war zone. Perhaps not so coincidentally, but nevertheless. You might recall from our earlier films that we informed you that because the object is in this category, it is not possible to conduct any additional study. With regard to one of the purported locations of the Garden of Eden that we have informed you of, this is precisely the case. Officially, it appears that nobody investigates these relics from our distant past. But as it happens, this is not entirely true. State Department communications made available through the Freedom of Information Act. Recently, there has been a circulating internet screenshot of an email from the State Department purporting to request documents regarding the site of the buried Nephilim in the Gilgamesh resurrection chamber. The information does not make it apparent if the request was granted. It is believed that the Nephilim referenced in the request actually refers to the human and fallen angelic lineage, as told in sacred scriptures. We have to notify you that the authenticity of the email remains uncertain, since no credible sources have verified its existence. It's possible that the case is a hacker's hoax. But as of right now, the email asking for information regarding the Gilgamesh resurrection chamber and the Nephilim's location is still listed on page 470 of the State Department's 2018 FOI Kiowa Freedom of Information Act log under number F 2019 02110. Prior to making any assumptions, it's also critical to ascertain the email's accuracy and context. The applicant for the request is identified on the State Department's records website as Denetra D. Senegar. There are thousands of people with this name on the internet, making it impossible to get any useful information about them. This might be someone else's pseudonym. It has also been suggested that the email contains a mysterious conversation in which Gilgamesh might have been a code name for something else. It is unclear to what the buried Nephilim would be alluding, and it seems improbable that a letter bearing such a title, which would draw a lot of attention by itself, would be used to conceal a code name. Several ancient traditions describe the Nephilim, who are said to be a tribe of angels that rebelled against God. Giants were created as a result of their decision to settle down on earth with the daughters of men. They are referred to as mighty men who were of old, men who became famous in the book of Genesis. The Hebrew word nephal, which means to fall or fallen, is where the word Nephilim originates. Although there is disagreement and interpretation of the precise nature and origin of the Nephilim, it is widely accepted that they are a group of strong, supernatural beings. They are represented as heroic and righteous in some traditions, yet evil and destructive in others. For ages, people have been debating whether or not they actually exist. Perhaps one of the most absurd theories we've heard is that fallen angels are being raised by the government to fight God. Of course, this is not backed by any verifiable data or based on any reputable scientific or theological doctrine. The idea goes on to claim that CERN's dark matter research is being carried out in an effort to prevent the beast from arising. Naturally, there is no solid evidence or source to back them up. If one thing is certain, it is that while we were informed in 2003 that a groundbreaking discovery was about to occur that would alter our perception of human history forever, 2 decades have passed as if it never did. Obviously, this isn't the case for everyone, though, as there are still people who are curious about this finding out there. Moreover, logically speaking, Gilgamesh and the Nephilim are obviously not where they were in 2003, if he wishes to know the location of the resurrection chamber, as this could be found out with a quick internet search. This is the narrative of Gilgamesh to date, and we hope you are not upset that you were not able to learn more about him after his tomb and body were purportedly discovered in 2003.